Alright, fellas, what's going on? Denonu here, the man with the biggest and the most blackest privilege on YouTube. And in this video here, we're going to be talking about something that hurt my heart this morning. And that was if you guys can already tell by the title, the Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice movie. Now, I'm going to try to keep my tone mellow. It probably won't happen. But I just got finished talking to myself for the past hour and a half doing this commentary before, but my mic messed up and it recorded none of it. So, being the boss that I am, I'm going to do it all over again because the emotions are still running strong. So, in this video here, it's going to be a long one. Like I said, when I previously did this, it was an hour and a half. This one, I'm going to try not to let it be that way. But what I will do is I'm going to explain everything about what I think about this movie in its entirety. I'm not just going to be talking about a review. I'm not going to be talking about the plot. I'm not going to be talking about the characters. I'm going to break down everything I liked and disliked about this movie. So right out the gate, just to let you guys know, this movie is going to be mostly negative. Mostly negative. And just to give you guys some backstory, just so you guys know where I'm coming from, I'm a comic book fan. I'm a hardcore comic book fan, but I'm not a collector, if that makes sense. I used to collect comic books when I was a kid growing up. Got me into reading a little bit more heavily. But nowadays, I don't collect them, but I still follow the stories and still read the comic books, things like that. So I know of the characters. I'm probably 80% Marvel, 20% DC. If I had to split myself between Marvel and DC, I mean, I read other stuff too, but if I had to pick. But what I'm trying to get across is I'm a fan of the medium. I'm a fan of well-made stories. I'm a fan of comic books. I love the characters. It's probably like if I had to pick a favorite entertainment medium next to books, anime, and video games, it would be comic books. Just like I'm sure many of you guys are, because you're obviously fans of the material. Otherwise, you wouldn't be listening to this video right now. But I'm about to go balls deep into why I don't like this movie. So if any of you guys are, you're just a Marvel fanboy, you only hate the movie because it's not how Marvel do it, I'm going to explain my reasons for every damn thing. And believe me, it's not just because I like the Marvel stuff more than the DC stuff. By far. So anyways, first topic we're going to get into is my previous videos about this. When the trailers came out before, I made videos of them. And after seeing the movie, I was exactly right. I knew they were going to fuck it up. I knew it was going to feel rushed. I knew that Jesse Eisenberg was a fucked up Lex Luthor, but I'll get to him later on in the video. I got something to say about that. But starting off, we're going to break it down by category. Music. Music in this movie was off. As somebody who, let's say, I liked the music in Man of Steel. You know, how could you not like, the music in Man of Steel? But it was serviceable. I liked it because it fit the tone of what you're watching on screen. And they played it during the climactic action scenes of the movie that got you pumped. In this, the movie never does that. Like, Superman's theme would play when he's flying around or doing something. That was pretty cool. His theme in the movie I don't have a problem with. But, like, why does everybody have to have their own personal theme? Like Batman. Every time they showed Batman on screen, they played his theme. Every time they showed Lex Luthor doing his fucked up personality shit, they always played his little weird, quirky piano music. It's like everybody had to have their own theme play when they're on the screen when you're watching them. That sounds like the dumbest fucking idea ever. And by the way, this is gonna have spoilers, so I'm not one of those people who make spoiler-free reviews. No, this is going to have spoilers up the ass. So if you don't want to know what happens in the movie, don't watch this video. Click off. Hit that X in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. But the music felt off, not necessarily the music throughout the movie, like the other background music, but only when it came to the personal themes. When every major character was on screen, they had their own theme throughout the movie. And that just felt weird to me, because they were playing it too much, way too much. But it was okay, Besides Lex Luthor's theme, I think they should have cut that out the movie altogether. But Batman's theme, I guess, was okay. I guess it's kind of formulaic, if anything. But besides music, the tone of this movie was all kinds of fucked up. It's like they want to make this super serious type movie, and don't get me wrong, I am a fan of that. I really am, to a certain extent. It's just that they don't know how to do it right. Whoever they have at WB, maybe it's a Zack Snyder's thing, because I don't know how much pull he has when it comes to making the movie. I know he's the director, but I'm not a fan of film like that. I don't know what a director's job is other than just making the scenes and making the movie. So I'm assuming this is all on him, because everybody's blaming him because all of his movies are dark and gritty and super serious and all that. So maybe they know what they're talking about. But the tone of the movie was wrong. You have Batman, you have Superman in the same movie. They are both not serious characters. I don't care how much bullshit you pull out of your ass to explain to me that Superman is he's a super serious character and he's super... No, that's not Superman. This movie's tone should have been bipolar. It should have been like... If you guys ever played DC Universe, you have Metropolis and you have Gotham. When you're in Gotham in that game, the sky is dark, it's always rainy, the weather's always fucked up, it's always broody, it's always, like Batman, you're gonna find Batman crouching on the rooftop somewhere. It's never sunny, never bright, none of that shit. Except when it's in Metropolis, where in Metropolis, it's brightly colored, the sun is out, it's shining, everything is happy-go-lucky, and it's never dark. That's the way this movie should have been. Superman should have been the brightly colored, superheroic character. His outfit should have been like kind of like the Christopher Reeve one, where it was brightly colored. And then you can have Batman be the dull colors, be the muted colors, and all of that whenever you're in Gotham. It should have had that tone, that visual tonal shift in the movie, just to separate your characters a little bit more, because the characters in this movie were altogether fucked up. That's everybody. Everybody probably besides Superman and maybe his mom. Everybody else either shouldn't have been in the movie, like Lois Lane. She didn't really have a place in her movie. They kind of had to bullshit her place in the movie. But I'll get to that later when I talk about the story. But Superman's character was a little bit off, I felt. Just to give you guys a little bit more backstory. Man of Steel. I know a lot of people didn't like Man of Steel because they felt that Superman didn't save everybody in the movie. And you had all of that destruction and stuff like that. But to me, I was one of those people who... I don't really care about the destruction. To me, I thought that was realistic. I liked that about Man of Steel. I was like, you can't have two superpowered beings like Kryptonians fight and have the world not get fucked up. That's just the way it is. And a lot of people didn't like the fact that Superman killed Zod at the end of that movie. And to those people, I will explain the reason why I loved that, because it made sense. In the storyline that you were given in that movie, it made sense. Name me one way they would have stopped Zod without killing him. Just point blank and period. How would they stop him? Was Superman gonna beat him into the ground? No. Did they magically have kryptonite? No. Did they magically have the Phantom Zone that they could have tossed him into? At this point in the movie? No. They already wasted it. So they had no way of stopping Zod from continuing the fight. That's just the way it is. except having Superman kill him or have Zod kill himself. That's people on Earth couldn't kill him, and even if you did capture him, he could just break out again. It ain't like nothing you got can hold him. So it makes sense. It had to go that way, no matter which way they decided to do. They had to make Superman kill him. I mean, because he obviously can't snap his own neck. So, but coming out of that, the reason why I thought that was a good idea was because this movie, I'm gonna talk about what I like first, and it's only gonna be like one or two things. The rest I pretty much hated. Well, hate's a strong word. Let me say heavily disliked. Let me say that. To me, coming out of Man of Steel, I thought that him snapping Zod's neck was gonna be like Batman's no-kill rule, where it's like, okay, now that you've did it, you have to try to live up to the Superman that we all want you to be. Meaning that one from the animated series, that super Boy Scout, that farm boy kind of mentality. I'm going to try my hardest not to kill you. Become the Superman we all know and love. Because it would make sense. Because the part of the story in this movie was that the world didn't trust Superman. Half of it didn't trust it and the other half worshipped him, which I thought was a huge, great idea. That's something they don't even do in DC comic books. And that's one of the reasons why I like Marvel comics over than DC. Because a lot of you guys, if you don't read comic books, you may not know. And this is coming weird because I watch other people's reviews or see videos about comic book movies, and DC fanboys are talking about, oh, Marvel's movies are crappy and silly and they're not serious and realistic. Well, that's because Marvel learned that if you go read the comic books, the reason why I'm a fan of Marvel comics versus DC was because in the comic books, probably besides the past, let's say 10 years, it's switched in the comic books. Marvel was the more serious one. DC was the more happy-go-lucky, don't worry, our heroes can save us from anything kind of sort of world to it. They didn't explain a lot of shit. It just happened for the sake of happening, and whereas Marvel, you had realistic shit in your comic books. And a lot of people, unless you're old school comic fans, don't know that. Like, all the heroes and villains, most of them anyway, have humanistic qualities that are pros and cons. Iron Man, he drinks. Captain America, man out of time. Miss Marvel, the old Miss Marvel, not the Muslim chick. Her thing is also drinking. The X-Men, all of their shit was racism. Professor Xavier and Magneto, yeah, that's Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. Right there. It resonated personally to me, so that's why I'm a fan of Marvel more than DC. They even had a couple crossovers where you had the Avengers go to the world of DC, and you had the Justice League come to the world of Marvel, and they didn't like each other, because the Justice League came to Marvel's Earth and was like, why is everything so fucking bad? Why do they got all these additional threats that they have to deal with? The heroes aren't doing their job. That's what they thought. And then the Avengers went to the world of DC and was like, why does everybody worship their heroes? They must rule this world with an iron fist to force everybody into subjugation. So that was the reason behind they fought. But it showed you the different tones of their comic book series. And in the movies, I guess it's opposite now. Because in the comic books now, it's like the other way around. It's like Marvel is taking the place of DC, and DC is trying to be more serious like Marvel did. So, but in the movies, what WB fails to fucking realize, because I think WB's making this movie, but not every hero is a super serious tonal type person. That works for Batman, yes, because that's a part of his fucking character. You can't take that and apply it to Superman, because he is not a serious character like that. You can't apply it to The Flash. You can't apply it to Green Lantern, because those are characters, not Superman, but they're comedic characters. That's a part of who they fucking are. Whereas Superman, his goal is to be that good-natured Boy Scout type character that's just like somebody else I know. Captain fucking America. That's the way Superman should be. He should be that Boy Scout, that believing the good is in everybody. I'm going to do my hardest not to kill you. And in this movie, they just didn't do that. Superman was dark and broody and stoic, going around. I mean, granted, he was saving people, but that first guy that when Lois was in Africa, he straight killed that guy. Flew him in between three walls. You know his organs was made of all liquid after that. I mean, and he didn't think twice about it. I was like, you got all this power. I was like, you should not be killing people. And that's the problem, is they try to make it a serious movie, but they forget that. I'll touch on that later when I get in the story, but suffice it to say, Superman's character, his character was flawed. He was probably the least flawed out of Batman and Wonder Woman in this, because Wonder Woman, they don't really do nothing with. They could have cut her out the movie altogether. She's nothing in this movie. 5 minutes at most out of damn near 3 hours. But Batman is fucking broken. Batman is fucking flawed, YouTube. And in this movie, more ways than one. Batman's character was completely fucked up. And that hurt me personally. Because in this movie, he just straight up kills everybody. And I will get into why I hate that. I mean, to me, could be wrong. Maybe I don't know enough about comic books. But Batman's core personality, or the core thing about his character, is that he does not kill people. He has killed people in the comic books down the line, but, you know, canon-wise, Batman it's like a part of his character is never to kill people. Ever. Because in his mind, I'm better than that. I'm bigger than that. I'm better than that. Yeah, I can kill people. It is so damn easy because of how skilled I am, but I won't, because that'll undermine everything I do. That's the core of his character. And for those fans who be like, well, they're adapting this out of The Dark Knight Returns and not of the comic book, you are absolutely right. And I will explain why he kills people in that, because I just reread the comic books a few months ago, and I seen that animated movie when that dropped. The reason why it made sense in that is because, number one, it didn't make sense, but the reason why I can believe it more in that, because that it was earned. Batman in that movie was old. He was like 50, 60 something years old. And he tried in the beginning to be how he was and not kill people and do this, that, and the other. But when he's fighting somebody who is not just as good, but who's younger, faster, and better, and he can't beat him, he's resorted to killing him. And that changed who he was as a person. In this, you didn't have none of that. He just straight up killed people for no fucking reason. He didn't even try to save them. That was the thing. It would have been different. I have no problem with Batman killing people. To me, Batman has always been one of those characters who, I don't really like Batman all that much, because I think his underlying principle of, I don't like to kill people, I think that's fucking stupid. In the world that he lives in and that we live in reality. There are some times when, hey, look, you just got to put that motherfucker down because you don't want him to kill more people. I'm sorry. That's the way the world works. But the problem I have with Batman in this movie, and the reason why it pisses me off, is because if they had some character depth, or if they kind of showed you how he went from being, let's say, one way to the killer, the mass murderer that he is in this, it would make more sense. But they don't. They just straight up show him killing people. First result, he doesn't try to talk him down. He don't try to be Batman and outfight him first, and then if, let's say, he's forced into killing him, like he don't have no other options, and then he kills him, I would have no problem with that. But that's not how this is. He just rolls up on him in the Batmobile, straight up shooting, gunning people down and blowing them up and killing them for no reason. None whatsoever. I'm just as good. I can take out these guys, no problem, given all my tech and all of my skills. But guess what? I won't, because I'm too much of a bitch that hide behind a gun. Fucking stupid. That was a big part of why I didn't like this movie. It was just so complete shit that it made no fucking sense. And like I said, it's not because of him killing. I actually agree with that. It's just how they went about doing it. You're making a superhero movie, but yet you have the people in it aren't heroic. Makes no fucking sense to me. Yeah, Superman's somewhat heroic. Okay, that would make sense. But then you got Batman just going around, just killing everybody he fights and branding people. That doesn't make any fucking sense. I think they try to BS the reason that as far as like, oh, he's branding people because in prison, you know, it's like a death sentence or whatever that fucking news thing said. And that wouldn't make no sense because wouldn't that give you more street cred? If you say, look, I fought Batman and made it out alive or, you know, whatever, that would get that. Why would that hurt you in prison? That would help you. Like I said, that would give you more street cred in the streets. So it's like, why would it be a death sentence? Why would the other criminals beat you up because you fought Batman? Fucking stupid. Made no fucking sense. Number one, again, why is he doing it? Just period. Just why is he doing it? You're still locking that guy up. You still whipping his ass and capturing him. It's like you're branding them for no fucking reason. It would be different like if he was like, let's say like, instead of branding them, he was putting tracers underneath their skin or some shit so he can find out where they're going or something. But no, he's just branding them just for the sake of branding them for no fucking reason that they never explained. Could have cut that shit right out the damn movie. Let's say him killing people shouldn't have been there. Like I said, it's not the act of doing it. It's why he's doing it. Fucking stupid. Since we're talking about Batman, let me talk about Ben Affleck as being Batman. I was somebody who didn't hate on Ben Affleck being Batman. When I first heard it, I was like, what the fuck? And then I was like, no. Ben Affleck, when he wants to, he can kill a role. So to me, I'm like, I think he was going to play a good Batman and not a Bruce Wayne. You know, not a good Bruce Wayne. And to me, even after seeing the movie, that's exactly what I think. To me, he didn't play a good Bruce Wayne well. He was pretty much Batman the entire time, just not wearing the batsuit. And to me, Bruce Wayne, even in all the cartoons and even in the comic books, Bruce Wayne, when he's not brooding, he's almost like a completely different personality shift. Even though it's Batman playing an act, you know. In this, he doesn't have that act. He's not suave. He's not debonair. He doesn't do anything. He just mopes around, being all broody, even when he's Bruce Wayne, and it makes for a dull ass character. You know, it would be different like if he's brooding in the mansion or something, but you know, it's not just that. It's everywhere, even when he's out in public, and that's just fucking stupid in my opinion. Speaking of the mansion, let me talk about that. Why is Bruce Wayne's mansion burned up in flames? Why is he living on a lake house and not like, you know, why does he not have the Batcave? It's like he has a modernized house off the side of a lake for no fucking reason. You know, another plot hole that they add in is like, well, maybe they'll explain that in their Solo movie. Then you know what? Maybe they shouldn't have had it in this fucking movie. Because in this fucking movie, it's there for no fucking reason and it's not explained. But I'll get to more of the plot holes when I talk about the story. Something else I didn't like, Batman. He's always had a thing against guns. And I'm not going to say he's anti-gun, but you know, he's not completely anti-gun, but he doesn't like using them because guns are what killed his parents. And that's like the underlying tragedy to his psychotic break that he has, is that yeah, he will use things that are shaped like guns, that do the same things as guns, but they won't look like guns. Like even when I think they had the scene of him shooting the little tracer dart on the truck containing the kryptonite when he was trying to steal it. Just seeing Batman holding up a big ass sniper rifle, just something's wrong about that image to me. Because, like I said, Batman doesn't use guns, like, ever. It's almost down to, like, a phobia that he has, like he's scared of them. Because it's, you know, he feels as though he doesn't have to use them. I wish they went the Nolan route, where they, like, what was it The Dark Knight? I think it was in The Dark Knight. Whenever Batman was in China and he had the little glue gun, air gun thing that he had, was shooting the bombs on the side of the building with. You can have Batman use a gun-like device, but just don't make it be a fucking rifle. You know what I'm saying? Just like in a comic book, Batman uses the grappling gun. He has all these other devices that he handles like a gun, but they don't look just like guns. Because of that one specific reason about him having that gun phobia. So for him to just straight up have guns and kill people with them, mind you, it's just fucking stupid. I read an article this morning that was like, where Zack Snyder was talking about all the hate he was getting for this movie, and he was like, oh, I made this movie for comic book fans. No, the fuck you didn't. I don't know who the fuck he made this movie for, but it damn sure wasn't comic book fans. He made this movie for his goddamn self. But other than that, it's like Batman's whole ideology, and this is what really pisses me off about his character in this movie, is his whole ideology against Superman doesn't fucking work. That whole speech he gave Alfred about, if he's even 1% chance of our enemy, we have to take it as an absolute certainty. Fucking bullshit. Wanna know why? Because that shit doesn't make sense. Doesn't make fucking sense. You're telling me that the world's greatest fucking detective is gonna jump to conclusions that quick with no fucking evidence? Explain to me why that is. And why would you get mad at Superman because of the destruction in Man of fucking Steel when you're going out every night just randomly, indiscriminately killing motherfuckers? You're doing the same shit he is, just on a smaller damn scale. So why are you pissed at him? Makes no fucking sense. And my bad for blowing out the mic, which I'm probably doing, but it just pisses me off. It's just that underlines his whole motivation throughout the whole movie for me. Because it's just like, it's like you're a little kid. He has his point of view, and no matter what anybody else says, he's right. When everybody else and their mom can see, be like, yo, you're fucking wrong because of this. It's fucking stupid, YouTube. Like, whoever thought of that plot line should be fired from this fucking movie, along with whoever thought that Lex Luthor should act the way like that. But I'll get into why I can't judge the movie based on his performance later. But there's like 4 or 5 things in this movie that happened that was just completely fucked up, that they should have just cut out or not have in this movie. But yeah, Batman's whole point of view in this fucking movie is just garbage. Made no damn sense. Wonder Woman, I can't really joke on her. I mean, she was decent. I know going into this movie, I think that they casted her wrong. Gal Gadot or Gal Gadot, whatever her name is to me, I don't know how she's gonna act as Wonder Woman, because I mean, this movie she's in it for like 5 minutes. She wasn't really acting per se. They didn't, give her any extended lines or anything like that. So it never showed you her character, so to speak. If anything, it kind of made her look like Catwoman, and I don't know why they did that, but I just don't think she looks the part. Because to me, I'm like, if you're supposed to be this big, badass warrior chick, at least be athletic. I mean, you can't go around being a fighter and then look like you're a dainty model. To me, that don't make sense. It's kind of like in movies where they have like a 90-pound white lady be a master of kung fu and then fight like this 300, 400-pound guy and have her just beat him down just because she know kung fu. That shit don't happen in real life. There's a reason why we have weight classes in martial arts and MMA and all that kind of sort of stuff, because no matter how much kung fu you know, the moment you take that one punch from that 400-pound guy, you're going to be on your ass and being knocked out, if not dead. So for her to not look the part when she was fighting Doomsday and going through all that, I understand they were fighting Doomsday in this CG, but I just wasn't liking how she fought. I also think her suit should have been a little bit brighter. I don't know why the dark colors. I'll touch on that a little bit later, but the dark colors of all the outfits just seem stupid to me. I mean, it works for Batman. I think they would have, should have stuck that with him. But like I said about Metropolis and Superman, it was like, I think that their outfits should be bright and colorful to contrast Batman's dark and broodiness. Same thing, with Wonder Woman. I think instead of having that dark red that she had, I think her outfit should have been brightly colored, kind of like how it is in the Justice League cartoon. Why not go with that? I don't understand why they didn't go with the Justice League version of these characters, because I think they would have made more money. People wouldn't have been talking shit about the movie like they're doing now. And I just think it would have been better character-wise as well. Granted, they would not have made this particular movie, but I can think of a better movie that they could have made now, but I'll touch on that at the end of the video. But Wonder Woman, besides not being somewhat muscular or not being somewhat cut, it's just, to me, it doesn't make her believable. I like the fact that she had the bracelets. I like the fact that she had her weapons, the sword and the shield and the lasso of truth. Loving all of that. That was pretty good. Her intro was okay. That was like the one part of the theater where I heard people clapping. Whereas everything else, it's just, nobody, people was either laughing at the movie and not in a good way, like laughing because of how bad it was, or just not being moved whatsoever. And that's a problem. I was like, when you have a Batman and Superman movie, because Superman is the world's greatest hero. Don't nobody say to be like, you know what, I hate Superman. If you like comic books, you can say, oh, I hate his comics. I don't like reading his comic books because of this, this, and this. But you can't hate what the character stands for, because what he stands for made everybody else. There is not one superhero on this planet in comic books or outside of comic books that doesn't kind of take some kind of heroic cue from Superman. And that's where I think the problem is with this movie is, if they didn't make Superman, or Batman rather, be heroic. Like if Superman, like I said before, would have came out in this movie, oh, I don't kill people, and had him show it all throughout the movie, it would have made sense. If Batman, if they showed him not killing people, he would have been better. Or let's say if they showed him trying not to kill people, but let's say he's forced in that position and he couldn't do it without killing them. That would make better sense. That's something people can understand. It would show that your people in the movie, that your heroes are heroic, rather than just being mass murdering vigilantes like the Caped Crusader is in this damn movie. But now that we got them out the way, let's talk about Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor, probably the worst character throughout this whole entire movie. I came into this video thinking I'm gonna spend an hour talking about how much he fucked up this movie. But they threw Junior at the end of his name. And that negates anything I could say about him, because he's not Lex Luthor. He's not the Lex Luthor that everybody assumes him to be. He's Lex Luthor's son. And they make that point clear 3 or 4 times in the movie, so he can act however he wants to act. Because he's not the same guy. So I can't fault him for that. I will say this, though. I will do think that he's probably the biggest flaw in the movie. I don't know why they went with that character type. I mean, because like everybody's saying in reviews about how he feels more like the Joker, they are absolutely 100% right. He feels psychotic and not, the 80s businessman type character everybody wanted him to be. He feels like a fucking joke, to be honest. And all of his motivations, why he did what he did, how he did what he did, the way he did things to other people, it was just fucking stupid, and it made no damn sense. Man, he fucked this shit up. Like, when he was getting the agreement to get Zod's body and everything from the military guy, what other grown man gonna let another grown man put a Jolly Rancher in his mouth? Explain to me that bullshit. I seen that, and that was the first thing I said. I think I said it at the top of my lungs. I was like, what grown man will let another grown man do that to him? Maybe if that was his girl, he might let him do that to him, but not another grown ass man. Fucking stupid. The way he broke into the Kryptonian ship, fucking stupid. You telling me that a Kryptonian ship that's semi-working can't detect when you're breaking into the ship using fucking fingerprints? Man, that was some bullshit. Their whole species and technology worked off of genetics and scanning your DNA and all of that dumb shit. You know, but no, we're just gonna slice fingerprints off, put them on the tips of my fingers, and it's gonna allow me to magically open this door because their system is too dumb to scan me, the actual fucking person. We got better shit than that now. It's called biometrics, where it scans not only your fingerprint, but your retina print, your brain patterns, your blood pressure, all of that shit, to determine that you are you. So you're telling me an alien device, which is made for it and can scan for it better, don't work. But yet he's able to do it. Just by fingerprints. Which can be mimicked, mind you. Just saying. You have a technologically superior alien race. You don't think they just didn't safeguard their shit other than fucking fingerprints? Fucking stupid. When he put Doomsday's or Zod's body in the little pool, that little computer, I forget what they called him or what Russell Crowe called his in Man of Steel, but that little computer should have scanned him right there as soon as he came to the door and be like, hold up, you're not General Zod, you're not Kryptonian. You know, and then let's say if Lex had to take that out and then figure out how to use the computer to do what he do, then yeah, that would have made a little bit more sense. But no, the computer was like, oh, you want to use the command key? Go right ahead. You're not Kryptonian, but fuck it. You know? And it would have made sense if, let's say, I know the ship was only 30% damaged, but that shit was fucking working when he used it. So there's no way you could tell me, oh, well, the ship was damaged. That's why I didn't scan him. Bullshit. Then that shouldn't have worked when he went to use it. It would have been different, YouTube, if, let's say, instead of, let's say, just straight up using the key and having the computer give him access to every fucking thing. It would have made more sense if, let's say, he took that key out and, let's say, that podium out of the ship. Let's say he tried it and it didn't work. And he got his people to come in there and take that out. And let's say it could only bring up like a few files that the Kryptonians had because it was busted. So he only got partial data from these files, and then using what data he interpreted, that's how he was able to do what he did. It would have made more sense logically from that point of view. But they didn't. He just kind of cut his hand, stuck it in the water for some fucking reason, and that somehow made Doomsday, which they just didn't explain how none of that shit made sense. Again, another plot hole. They just kind of left it hanging. Man, he fucked up this movie. He was in at least 4 or 5 moments that didn't make. Well, it made the movie make sense, but they were reasons and situations that they didn't have to have in this damn movie. What else? Oh, him magically knowing who everybody fucking is in the whole movie. He knew who Superman was. He knew who Flash was. He knew who Cyborg was. He knew who Aquaman was. It's like, really? You gonna know? How do you know all these people? No fucking reason. Oh, he just knew him. Just cause. How did he know who Superman was? I mean, granted, it's not that hard to do when you can just look at him as Clark Kent, but I'm just saying, movie standpoint, they didn't explain how he knew. He just knew. End of the movie happened. He kidnapped his mom. I mean, it's just this movie. It was fucked up from the word go. I knew it was gonna be bad. I knew it was gonna be shit. Let's see what else. What else can I rant about? Doomsday. Doomsday looked like shit. You know, this Doomsday only had one pivotal thing he did, and that was kill fucking Superman. And even in this movie, that's exactly what he did. But you don't take And that's why as soon as I knew they were doing it, I was shaking my head because I was like, you don't take one of the greatest moments of comic book history. I'm not talking about just the Superman comics. I'm talking about comics in general. Marvel, DC, Image, and everybody else. And make a bullshit movie plot out of it. You don't do that shit. The death and return of Superman changed comic book history. It was on the fucking news. In real life. When that happened, it was like the world's greatest hero died today. That was on the fucking news about a fucking comic book character. That's how pivotal Superman is in popular culture. You don't do that. You don't take that storyline and condense it down to like a 10-minute fluff scene and then expect everybody to throw money at your screen, you know, like it's fucking Destiny. No, you don't do that shit. They should have kept Doomsday until like the 4th fucking movie. You know, make it the Justice League movie after the whole Darkseid movie. If that's what you want to do, I think that's going to be another bullshit movie when it comes out, that whole Darkseid movie, because that's a whole fucked up storyline that's way too similar to fucking Thanos from Marvel. And I think fans are going to get fucking confused because they're the same fucking character. They just look a little bit different. I mean, like Doomsday should be a movie all by himself. He really should. Because in the comic books, he ran through the entire Justice League with one arm. And then he fought Superman and then beat him to death in the middle of the street with his bare fucking hands. He didn't just grow some magical bone, fucked up Wolverine bone spike on his fist and stab fucking Superman. No, he beat him to death with his fists until he died. And to see them just like bastardize that storyline to make him a throwaway fucking villain is so fucking stupid. It's like the worst thing they could have fucking did. I'd have rather had them not made the fucking movie. And then to take the Dark Knight Returns and fuck that shit up because you took all the meaning out of it. The only thing that they took out of Dark Knight Returns was the way Batman fucking looked. That was fucking it. There was nothing story reason wise that made it fit the Dark Knight Returns. Other than just say, hey, look, let's have Ben Affleck be gray and black. Hey, look, let's make Batman fight Superman. Oh, what can we do? I don't know. I mean, you know, everybody likes that one comic book. Let's do that. And even the fight scene wasn't all that good either. Like I'm sitting here reading people's comments on YouTube reviews talking about, oh, it's one of the greatest fight scenes I've ever seen. I don't know what fight scene they were seeing. I really don't. I mean, they just threw each other through like a couple walls. That was it. I mean, at least that fight in the fucking comic book, it went through buildings. It went back on the streets. It went under the streets. It went back to the streets. You had Arrow, or damn, I'm watching a TV show fucking much. You had fucking Green Arrow shoot him with the kryptonite arrow. You know, it was a whole lot more planning behind that fight that Bruce Wayne did, other than just, oh yeah, let me set up 2 traps and that's it. Let me make this big fucked up kryptonite spear that came out of fucking nowhere. When did he ever do that shit? Number one, where did they get kryptonite from? Like it would have been better. That was a big plot hole I was thinking about, like before the movie came out. I was like, so how are they gonna fight Superman with no kryptonite? Because they didn't have kryptonite in the first movie. None of the meteors and shit came to fucking Earth, so there's no fucking kryptonite. So in this movie, they just happened to find it. I mean, it was a big plot hole. Never explained that. I mean, they could at least gave a throwaway reason. Let's say like, oh, you know, all that atmosphere in the ocean, you know, coalesced and formed this crystal or whatever. You know, they could have bullshitted a reason as far as why kryptonite existed. But no, they didn't. They just found it. Fucking stupid. It would have been different if you had kryptonite in the first movie. And let's say that was the reason why he was getting weak and not, let's say, the planet's atmosphere. But no. They just fucked up. That's what that was. They just fucked up. And they're doing in this movie, it reminds me of what DC used to do with their comic books and the reason why I like Marvel. DC used to do all of their comic books and be like, we don't have to explain shit. We just have to just do it. Oh, how can Superman be this strong? Or how can so-and-so do this? Well, he just can. Part of the story. That's why I like Marvel, because at least Marvel before, like 8 or 10 years ago, they at least try to explain everything what's going on so it means something. Kind of like what they're doing with the movies now. And that's my one underlying problem with this movie is three things. It's Batman being the way he was, Lex Luthor being completely fucked up, and just the movie didn't have no heart behind it. It feels soulless. You would think in a Batman vs Superman movie, you would get emotionally involved, connected to some character in the movie. Because, I mean, these are like two of your greatest heroes fighting. Either you love them or hate them, but you're going to feel some type of way about them. And I know in the theater I was in, wasn't nobody pumped when they saw that fight. I mean, hell, Batman didn't even give Superman that speech talking about how much he beat him. Like in the comic book. I hated that speech in the comic book because Batman didn't really beat him by himself like that. But I'm just saying, at least that had a meaning to it. In this, they didn't even do that. It was like, oh yeah, I'm going to stop fighting you because my mom's name is Martha too. Like, that was some complete bullshit. Like people were saying that and I was like, wow, like nobody knew that shit but me. But granted, that was the most dumbest fucking reason to stop a fight. I swear to God. It was just stupid. Like, whoever thought of all these fucking decisions need to be fucking fired. I don't know if it's Zack Snyder. I don't want to throw all the blame on him. Because I'm not a film buff, so I don't know how well or how much input a director has to, let's say, like the script and things like that, and the movie. I don't know if he like I think he just does the shots of the movie and stuff like that and how it's gonna be filmed, but I could be wrong. Maybe he just got a bug up his ass, and maybe he thought he was making the greatest thing ever when he clearly wasn't, and just couldn't see the difference. I'm not saying Batman v Superman is the worst movie I ever seen. Far from it. I can name a movie just right off the top of my head that I think is worse, and that's the movie, I can't think of the name of it, but it was a movie about shooting guns, and it had that one guy in it. I forget what his name is. I know that's incredibly vague, but it was a no-nonsense action movie where all they did was shoot guns, and it had, like, very little plot or story. It just all was directed on shooting guns. Came out, like, 7-8 years ago. It was completely stupid. But the storyline in this movie was garbage. It was straight garbage. I can't even call it a story because a story has a beginning, a middle, an end, a protagonist, an antagonist, a climax, a fall from that climax. There are certain things that you have to have in place in order for this to be called a story. I mean, this had plot holes cut out of it like fucking Destiny. I mean, it was like they just didn't explain shit. And even they didn't explain their own movie plot right. It was like it would be different like if they told you the movie's plot coherently, but let's say side characters and character archetypes and everything that everybody else has. If they didn't explain nothing else but explain the main movie plot points, then it's like, okay, well, I can't really say nothing because at least the main part of the movie itself, they explain. But no, this shit had missing plot lines like it was like a sci-fi original movie. Like, certain character story points just stop. Like it'll get to a certain point in the movie and then it'll just stop and just like never be resolved and just fuck it. Why can we do that? Well, why can't we do that? It just makes me so mad that they just didn't put no kind of forethought into making this movie. It's like they really didn't. It's like they had two big ideas, Dark Knight Returns and Death of Superman, and then on a dartboard, and then you had a bunch of these other popular ideas stuck there, and then they just threw a dart at the thing and just, had 3 darts and made it work. It's just fucking stupid. And then the thing that pisses me off, what really pisses me off, is that they have no need for it. You have Batman, you have Superman. They are the two most powerful characters in comic book history when it comes to their popularity. Fuck Wolverine. Fuck Spider-Man. Fuck everybody. Anybody Marvel has. Ain't nobody topping Batman and Superman. The only two closest would probably be like Spider-Man and Wolverine. But that's Batman and Superman. There's like nobody on this planet. If you have a television or a comic book near you, there is no way you don't know who Superman is or Batman. You may either know one of the two, but you'd be lucky if you know both. But there's a lot of people out there who know who these characters are when they never touched a damn comic book. And that's another thing that pisses me off is like, how does everybody know all of these characters, but yet the people who are making the fucking movie don't realize that you have to keep certain things the same. Like, for the past 30, 40 years, Batman has had this no-kill rule in effect. Now, granted, certain iterations of Batman, like The Dark Knight Returns and all this, he kills people, yada, yada, yada. But in the comic book, they make a point of showing you how he got to this point. In this, by them not doing that, as an audience member, you're just watching Batman kill people, and you're thinking, why is Batman killing people? Because it lacks meaning. They don't explain how he got to the way he is. They don't explain it. And I know they're probably saving that for the Batman movie when they come out with, but damn that, they should have had some kind of explanation in this movie. That way you understand why he is the way he is. Because without that, it's like you're looking at a superhero just straight up murder people for no reason. I mean, I don't know. The movie was bad. Like, like I said, it's not the worst movie I've seen. I've seen far worse. When I say this movie is bad, I don't mean like, oh, it deserves a 2 out of 10, like some people are giving it. No, it's not that bad. It's probably like a 5 or a 6. To be honest, it's just a lot of plot points when it comes to certain characters don't make sense. Like, Lois Lane takes the kryptonite spear, throws it in the water, and then 5 minutes later, she has to go back and get it. It's like, why throw it in the water then? That was fucking stupid. How did Lex Luthor know who Superman Moms was? How did he know who the other heroes are? That's on his little video on his little YouTube playlist. How does he know... how does he know who Batman is? That's another one. Because he's mailing Bruce Wayne letters talking about, oh, you let your family die. You did this, you did this. How does he know who Batman is? I mean, it's like, he knows everything about this whole movie and nobody knows shit about him. It's fucking stupid. Doesn't make sense, YouTube. It doesn't make sense. I mean, I know I'm being overly negative. And there's a lot more I can say. I might make a part 2 to this because I'm going to see the movie again tomorrow. So I might have a little bit more thoughts on it. But for right now, I wish I could remember the other half hour of stuff I said. Because when I was doing this 2 hours ago, I had an hour and a half long video. But now it's like I'm trying to remember what I thought and I can't think about it. So I might make a part 2. After I see it tomorrow, I'm going to come back tomorrow and actually make another half to this and maybe explain some things that I didn't get a chance to remember in this one. But I just don't know, YouTube. To me, the one thing that pisses me off the most is probably... This hurts my heart as a fan of the medium. It really does. And all I wanted to see them do was like take the Justice League cartoon and make it into a movie. That's all they had to do. You already got the script there. You already got the show. You already know what to do. They could have did it beat for beat. And everybody would have probably loved it. Because it would have been just like the Avengers. You'd have seen everybody on screen. You'd have had the Flash or Green Lantern cracking jokes. So for those people who like to have the comedy and the jokes, they'd have got it from those characters. Batman would have been super serious and broody like he always is in the cartoons. Wonder Woman would have been a good warrior chick to have. She'd have held her own. She'd have been cool. I mean, it's just, they just don't care. They have no heart behind it. At least Marvel. And in this way, they're light years ahead of DC. Every studio has their fuck-up movie. Like, Sony had Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man 2. They also had X-Men with Wolverine Origins and X-Men 3. Who made the other ones? I don't know, I forget. Can't think right now, but every studio, when it comes to superhero movies, they have their fuck up movie. Marvel, um, they not Incredible Hulk, but the Hulk before that. I know that was before they started making their own movies, but that was kind of like a fuck up for them. What also was a fuck up was Iron Man 2. Even though it was critically praised, a lot of people didn't like it because it felt too fast paced. It wasn't planned out fully. They tried to rush it. They had too many hands in the pocket, just like this movie. Plus, the Thor movies never really kick off like they want them to. So, Marvel has at least a goal at the end of the day. They have their own little personal vision. Play on words on that one, vision. They have their own vision. But it's, you plan shit out. That's essentially what it is. They planned out their universe and they're making it happen. They're killing it right now. DC and WB, they didn't plan out shit. They didn't. I could plan out a better movie right now in 5 minutes and I don't even get paid to do shit. What they should have did, instead of trying to play catch up to Marvel, because they don't have to try to beat Marvel. You have Batman and Superman, two of the biggest iconic characters in pop culture history. No matter what they do, you're going to be more popular than them. What they should have did, instead of jamming everything together in this bullshit of a movie, what they should have did was took their time. This should have been a Man of Steel sequel or a Batman movie, and they should have took it movie by movie, building up their universe, and just say, look, we don't want to be like Marvel. We're not trying to compete with them. We're just doing our own thing. Their fans would have respected them for it. Marvel fans would have probably stopped comparing the two movies because, they are, they said that they're not trying to compete, so it is what it is. They're admitting defeat. I think that would have went up in a better way for him, because then at least this movie would have still made billions of dollars and it might shit on Civil War. But I guarantee you this movie ain't gonna shit out Civil War once Civil War comes out, because of how fucked up this movie is. It's not, like I said before, it's not because this movie is a bad movie. That's not what I'm saying. It's a bad film. The story is broken. It's not coherent. It bounces all around from time to time. Most people don't understand what's going on. It's from a film standpoint, that's fucking wrong. That's broken. This isn't like the Sundance Film Festival where this is a short film so you can forgive some of that shit. No. This is like a AAA movie production. Like, this shit it should not be like that. But I don't know. Like I said in my last commentary video, I went into this wanting it to be bigger and better. I went into this wanting this to be as big as anything Marvel could put out. Because like I said, I'm not bringing this whole commentary from a Marvel fanboy perspective. That's not what I'm doing. I'm throwing all this out there because I'm a fan of the medium. And I want to see the movie succeed. Because like in my last commentary video, I want that Avengers versus Justice League movie. Because if both of them are making that Marvel money, maybe they can shake hands and, you can see Superman or see an Avenger in the other movie. You know what I'm saying? I know Marvel would be open to do something like that because that would just make everybody more money. Why wouldn't everybody want more money? But no, DC has a bug up their ass about making everything all dark and broody when it shouldn't have to be. And they don't... It's like they don't understand their characters. And they don't know how to deal with making their own universe. Like Marvel. Marvel, for those of you who don't know, they have their own studio, Marvel Studios. That's different from, let's say, the people who make the comic books. Same company, but the people who make the comic books, it's their studio to direct all their movies. So they have, let's say, final say with what goes on. Whereas WB, they're not DC Comics. they're not concerned about keeping everything the same to the core of the comic books or even somewhat near it. They're trying to think, okay, what can we do to make more money? And that's what the problem is. All of the decisions that were made in this movie initially all stemmed from a board of directors, and they probably were just picking popular things to do. Rather than plan shit out the normal way you do it, the slow, take your time way, they just rushed it. And name me one thing in life, anything at all, that when you rush it, it's better. Because I can't name it. I can name food. When you cook it slow, it tastes better. You can't rush it. When you take your time with hard work, school, studying, playing video games, getting any better at any skill. Hell, I could say fucking sex is better when it's slow than fast. Fast will get you there quicker, but slow will make it feel better. It's just, I don't know, YouTube. I really don't. And that's why I had to make this long ass video, is because I really want this movie to succeed, and it pisses me off that they either they don't care about the franchise like that, or they just feel that they can. It almost reminds me of how Sony used to be, like with Wolverine Origins, and let's say with Spider-Man 2 going into Amazing Spider-Man. It reminds me of it's like, oh, we can put out anything we want, and fans are going to eat it up. And they haven't had a flop, except for, I think, Green Lantern. And they don't realize that this movie is it's not going to flop financially, but critically it's going to flop. Commercially, I think it's going to flop. I think it's going to do very bad. The Metacritic rating, the Metacritic rating on Rotten Tomatoes and all that shit, they're like 30-40%. That's bad for a movie of, let's say, this caliber. Even if this movie makes millions of dollars, which it probably still do, I guarantee you they're going to look at the drawing board and be like, where did we fuck up? Because why is our movie critically acclaimed to be shitty as shit, to where they actually have to do damage control on trying to, explain why their movie's the way that they say it is. And movie studios don't do that shit. But yet you got Deadpool coming out like a month and a half earlier, cost like a fifth or sixth of this movie, and broke fucking records for a character that most people know about, but that's his first fucking movie. Killing it. I guarantee you this movie's not gonna make as much as Deadpool. And that's the problem, is that it should, because it's Batman and Superman, but it's a Batman and Superman nobody fucking wanted. But I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But apparently I'm not the only one who's disliking the movie, am I? So that alone should tell you something. But anyways, my name is Denonu, the man with the biggest and the most blackest privilege on YouTube. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, where I'm going to rant more about this movie. Peace out, fellas. Thanks for watching. And I appreciate you guys listening to me ramble on for this long. I'll see you guys tomorrow.